A mental glitch that creates millionaires overnight. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? It sounds like a fantasy. The kind of myth peddled in late-night commercials and forgotten self-help books. We're taught from our first day of school that wealth is a slow, arduous climb. A 40-year marathon of saving, investing, and climbing a ladder someone else built. You trade your time for money, hoping that one day, you'll have saved enough of both to finally live. But you've seen them. We all have. The entrepreneur who launches a brand that explodes in 6 months. The creator who builds $1 million empire from their bedroom in under a year. The investor who makes a single decision that changes their life forever. It feels like they found a cheat code. A shortcut that bypasses the decades of struggle we were told was mandatory. And it leaves you wondering, what do they know that you don't? You assume it's luck, or connections, or some genius-level talent you just weren't born with. But what if it's none of those things? What if the only difference between them and everyone else is that they stumbled upon a tiny error in our collective programming? A glitch in the human mind's perception of value, time, and possibility. A glitch that, once activated, collapses the timeline to success. It's not magic. It's a mechanism. And understanding it is the first step to using it. If you're searching for the keys to unlock wealth and freedom, you're in the right place. Let's open the vault. So what is this glitch, really? It begins with understanding a lie your brain tells you every single day. A lie so deeply embedded in our culture that we mistake it for a law of physics. It's the lie of linear time. We're taught that input equals output. 10 hours of work should equal 10 hours of reward. A year of effort should equal a year's worth of progress. We see our life as a straight line, where A must lead to B, which must lead to C. This is your brain's survival wiring. For millennia, this linear thinking kept us alive. One hunt, one meal. Plant one seed, grow one plant. It's predictable. It's safe. But wealth creation isn't safe or predictable. It operates on a different law entirely, the law of leverage. The mental glitch is the moment your brain stops calculating your worth in units of time, and starts seeing it in units of impact and scale. Think about it like this. One person can spend 30 days digging a ditch with a shovel. A massive amount of time and effort for one result. Another person can spend 1 hour learning to operate an excavator and dig the same ditch in 15 minutes. The first person is trapped in the linear lie. The second has exploited the glitch. They leveraged a tool to collapse time. Your mind, your ideas, your knowledge, these are the most powerful excavators on the planet. But most of us are taught to only use them like shovels, trading hour for dollar, never realizing their true potential. The millionaire mind doesn't ask, how many hours will this take? It asks, how can I get the result of 1,000 hours in just one? This shift in questioning is the first trigger. But it's not just about asking the question. It's about creating the mental space for an answer. And that requires you to abandon one of the most common habits of the average mind. So, what is this common habit that keeps you trapped in the linear world? It's the addiction to passive consumption. Think about your day. How many hours are spent scrolling, watching, and listening to content about how to succeed? You read books on wealth, watch videos about business, listen to podcasts about mindset. With every piece of content, you get a small hit of dopamine. You feel like you're learning, like you're making progress. But this feeling is an illusion. It's the intellectual equivalent of junk food. It fills you up, but it provides no real nourishment for your goals. Your brain isn't designed to distinguish between learning about doing something and actually doing it. The inspiration feels so good that it becomes a substitute for action. This is the consumption spell. It keeps you perpetually in the passenger seat of your own life, watching the scenery of other people's success go by. The mental glitch is triggered by a deliberate, almost violent shift from consumption to creation. The person who activates the glitch doesn't watch 10 videos about building a landing page. They watch one, and then spend the next 5 hours building an ugly, imperfect, but functional one. They don't read 3 books on sales. They read a chapter, and then spend the rest of the day sending awkward, clumsy emails to potential clients. They embrace the cringe. They welcome the imperfection. Because they understand that one clumsy step forward is infinitely more powerful than 1,000 hours of flawless preparation for a journey they never begin. They starve the addiction to learning and start feeding the hunger for doing. But this isn't about taking random, chaotic action. That just leads to burnout. It's about focusing this newfound creative energy on one specific type of opportunity. The kind of opportunity that average minds are conditioned to overlook entirely. So, where do you focus this creative energy? You stop looking for fair trades, and you start hunting for asymmetry. An asymmetric opportunity is any situation where the potential reward vastly outweighs the potential risk. Our brains, wired for survival, hate this. We are taught to seek balance, safety, and predictability. A guaranteed $50 return for 10 hours of work feels safer to our mind than a potential $50,000 return for the same 10 hours, if it also comes with a risk of getting zero. This is because of a cognitive bias called loss aversion. Psychologically, the pain of losing is twice as powerful as the pleasure of winning. So, we instinctively avoid the small risk of failure, and in doing so, we forfeit the massive possibility of a runaway success. Activating the glitch means consciously overriding this faulty programming. The person hunting for asymmetry sends 10 well-researched emails to their dream clients. The downside? A few hours of work and the sting of rejection. The upside? Landing one contract that changes their entire year. The risk is tiny and capped. The reward is massive and uncapped. They spend a weekend building a simple software tool that solves a frustrating problem they have. The downside? A lost weekend. The upside? It solves the same problem for 10,000 other people who are happy to pay for it. They stop asking, what's the safest path, and start asking, where is the biggest possible prize for the smallest possible price of entry? They become a hunter of these lopsided bets. They see the world not as a series of guaranteed paychecks, but as a field of lottery tickets where the tickets themselves are cheap, and one of them is a guaranteed winner if you just scratch enough of them. This, of course, means you will encounter failure. Most of those emails will go unanswered. Your first product might get 0 sales. And this is the point where most people retreat back to safety. Their brain tells them the experiment didn't work. But the glitch allows you to see failure as something else entirely. Not as a verdict, but as data. To the average mind, failure is a verdict. It's a bright red stop sign. A judgment on your worth, your talent, and your ideas. The emotional weight of it is so heavy that after a few attempts, most people simply stop trying, retreating to the safety of the predictable, linear path. The glitch rewires this entire process. It strips the emotion away from failure until nothing is left but the raw, unfiltered data. A failed product launch is no longer a personal failing. It is a data point that says, the market does not want this solution to this problem. An unanswered email is not a rejection. It is a piece of information that says, this offer, sent to this person at this time, did not work. That's it. All the drama, the shame, the disappointment, it all evaporates. This is the mindset of the scientist in the lab. When an experiment doesn't work, they don't throw their hands up and declare science a failure. They document the result, analyze the data, change one variable, and run the experiment again. Their ego is completely detached from the outcome. This is what Thomas Edison meant when he said he hadn't failed, he just found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work. Each failure was simply a data point that moved him one step closer to the solution. When you see failure as data, it completely changes the game. It allows you to take more of those asymmetric bets we talked about, because the psychological cost of being wrong drops to almost zero. The fear is gone. All that's left is curiosity. This transforms you from a gambler, hoping for a lucky break, into a strategist, systematically gathering intelligence. This emotional detachment allows you to move with a speed and resilience that others find baffling. But gathering all this data is useless unless you are pointing your experiments in the right direction. It's not enough to just create and test. You have to be solving a problem. And the glitch reveals a counterintuitive secret about who you should be solving it for. Conventional wisdom tells you to do market research. Find a hungry crowd. Ask people what they want, and then build it for them. This is the linear, safe path. The glitch shows you a more powerful, more authentic starting point. Forget the market. Solve your own problem. That's the secret. You become a market of one. Look at your own life. What is the frustrating, recurring problem that you wish someone would solve for you? What is the tool you wish you had? What is the service you would gladly pay for if it only existed? The deepest, most resonant business ideas don't come from spreadsheets and surveys. They come from personal pain. When you set out to solve your own problem, you have an unfair advantage. You understand the nuances of the struggle better than any outside researcher ever could. You know exactly what a perfect solution would look like, because you are building it for the most demanding customer you will ever have, yourself. This authenticity is magnetic. Dropbox was born because its founder was tired of losing his USB stick. He built a solution for himself, and it turned out millions of people had the same frustrating problem. This is the real secret behind the overnight success stories. People spend months, sometimes years, quietly obsessed with solving a personal problem. To the outside world, they are invisible. Then, when their solution is finally ready, they release it, and it spreads like wildfire. It feels overnight to everyone else, but it was forged in the fire of authentic, personal need. When you are the creator and the customer, you build something with care, with detail, with a soul. You build the thing you wish existed. And in doing so, you create a beacon for everyone else who has been searching for that exact same thing. So you've solved your own problem. You've built your solution in a vacuum of one. Now what? This is the final step. How do you take this private solution and launch it into the world? It requires one last mental shift, a shift from building to broadcasting. And it's the hurdle where many brilliant creators fall. This final hurdle is where the magic happens, or where it dies. A brilliant solution to a real problem is useless if it stays locked away on your hard drive. The fear of judgment, the perfectionist's trap of, "it's not ready yet," keeps countless valuable ideas in the dark. The final piece of the glitch is a mental role change. You must fire yourself as the creator, and hire yourself as the broadcaster. A creator's job is to be sensitive, to perfect, to obsess over details. A broadcaster's job is to be shameless, to seek reach, to get the message out. They are not concerned with whether everyone likes the show, they are concerned with whether the show is on the air. You must flip that switch in your head. Your identity is no longer tied to the solution. The solution is now just a tool, and your new job is to find the people who need it. Don't try to reach everyone. Just find the others who are just like you. The people who share the exact same frustration you started with. Where do they hang out online? What do they search for? Go there. And don't just sell your solution, share your problem. Talk about the journey, the failed attempts, the data you collected. This authentic broadcasting is what separates a product from a movement. You're not just a salesman, you're the first member of a tribe, calling out to the others. When you share your struggle, you build trust. When you offer your solution, you provide value. This is how you go from a market of one to a market of thousands. The mental glitch isn't a single event. It's a complete overhaul of your mental operating system. You start by shattering the lie that your time equals your worth. You break the spell of passive consumption and become an active creator. You train your mind to hunt for asymmetric opportunities, where the upside is massive and the downside is trivial. You learn to treat failure not as a verdict on your soul, but as cold, hard data on a spreadsheet, allowing you to move with fearless speed. You focus all this energy on solving a problem that is authentically your own, becoming a market of one. And finally, you flip the switch from builder to broadcaster, sharing your solution with the world. This is the path that creates overnight success. It's a period of intense, focused, and often invisible work, followed by a moment of explosive, exponential growth when your solution finally connects with its tribe. It's not magic. It's just a better system for thinking. A system you can choose to install, starting today. This is one key, but if you want the whole vault, subscribe.